Good evening and happy eclipse new moon Tuesday. I hope everyone's day has been wonderful and not too crazy with all of the universal energies out there right now. I am, as usual, going to start with Pema Chodron's compassion cards, and they are teachings for awakening the heart of everyday life. And I am shuffling the cards as usual. Whatever pops out is the card of the day. Okay, and the card of the day is number 4, which is self-liberate, even the antidote. Self-liberate, even the antidote. And the commentary is, do not hang on to anything, even the realization that there's nothing solid to hold on to. Basically, be willing to release. Be willing to accept that everything is impermanent. And for me and my belief system, it's got a lot to do with everything being energy. And so we're all various forms of energy, and so we're real on this earthly plane, but we are all still beings of light and energy and spirit. Hopefully that makes sense. Just to talk briefly, I'm going to try to keep this short. I kept getting these messages, again, tarot readings, that it might be a good idea to talk a little bit about my personal experience, and I think also in terms of my own healing process, getting things off my chest and just talking through real life things might be beneficial to me, and if that's beneficial to someone else, that would be wonderful. So in the spirit of the new moon energy, I thought I would just talk about my experience with manifestation. And one of the reasons why one of my affirmations is generally, I am a master manifester, and I offer that to anyone and everyone who feels like affirmations are helpful for them. One of the reasons why I say that is because when I was about 14, that was probably the first time that I realized that I had the ability to make things happen. And one of the things that I think is important for us all to remember is that we're constantly manifesting. We are constantly co-creating with the universe. And the issue is whether we are doing it with intention or whether we are going throughout our day in a way that's mindless or thoughtless. Because if we are not being mindful, then we are oftentimes manifesting things that we don't want. And we don't feel like we're in control of our environment or in control of what's going on around us, when in fact what's happening around us is a reflection of how we feel and what we've been thinking. So when I was about 14, that was a very chaotic time in my life. There were a lot of family things happening. At the time, I was living with a relative, and my mom was living with a different relative with my siblings, and my parents had just split, and so if you can imagine a 14-year-old, that was just a crazy time. We'd also moved to a different state, so it was just everything was happening. It was all exploding. So I remember, money was short for me. Even at that time, I recognized that money would make things easier. And so every day I would go to the mailbox at my relative's house, and I had just gotten there. I don't even know if I'd been there for a month or two. And I would say that I wanted to receive a check for $10,000 in the mail. I would say it every single day, and I absolutely believed with all of my heart that that was going to happen. I just knew it. I mean, you could not tell me that I wasn't going to get a $10,000 check in the mail. I don't know if it was even a month that went by. I went to the mailbox, and there was a letter with my name on it, and I opened it, and it was a check for $10,000. Now, the interesting thing was, it was a check for life insurance. It was one of those advertisements that they send you, and they're like, oh, here's $10,000, and if you cash this, then we'll open up your life insurance account. And I remember I laughed and laughed and laughed, and I thought to myself, okay, God has a sense of humor. Ha ha ha, that is hilarious. I had no idea how funny God was. So after that, I realized that I did that. I remember thinking, I made that happen. I knew that. Now, over the years, because of life and other challenges, I had totally forgotten about that until very recently. But I do remember feeling very acutely at the time that I knew that I made that happen. And part of it now, and the importance of me bringing it up, is that as I'm going through this process with several decades of life experience and some other emotional things having happened, I'm realizing the power in that belief. Not only that, the importance of being specific. So if you know what it is that you want, be very specific. I did get a $10,000 check in the mail. It just wasn't something that I could spend at the time. I don't even know how that company got my name or where that even came from, except for the fact that it was something that I was asking for. So believing, understanding that you do have that power, that we all have that power, and if we don't recognize it, we're still using it. Also recognizing the importance of being specific. And I've heard a lot of people talk about the action that we need to put in, or some people say effort or work. I don't know that I love the word work or effort, because you can be putting action towards something by using your creative energy in some way, or whatever. But whatever the action is, I do think that that's unique to the person, and whatever you feel like, whatever your intuition is telling you needs to happen for this manifestation. But in general, for me, I do believe that the most important thing is your belief, which also speaks to the expectation and the faith. So I fully, at the time, expected it to happen. I knew it was going to happen. You couldn't tell me it wasn't going to happen. And I believed with all my heart. Now, at this point, as an adult, if I want $1 million, let's say, and I'm running around panicking because my bills aren't paid and I don't have this and I don't have that, then that's not demonstrating any sort of faith or belief that I have the power to co-create with the universe. If I'm panicking, that means I don't believe that that's going to happen. If I am running around trying to make things happen in some mindless way, or something that is driven by fear, then not only am I operating from what I don't have, I am not believing that the universe is co-creating with me and that I am co-creating with the universe. So that's my brief story, and I am going to try to incorporate different experiences into these conversations. And for now, I will leave it at that and end with the affirmations that are sometimes helpful for me, and I hope might be helpful for someone else if they feel like those daily reminders of how powerful we really are really helpful for their healing and their connection with their higher self. So I am happy, I am peaceful, I am unlimited, I am lucky, I am abundant, I am generous, I am kind, I am compassionate, I am flourishing, I am open, I am powerful beyond all measure, I am optimistic, I am healthy, I am healed, I am connected. I am sending love, light, positivity, and joy to all beings in the universe.